making friends. My name is Joey Balistreri, for those of you who don't know me yet, and what you see on my work table today may seem a little familiar if you are someone who regularly watches my videos. So what I am doing is another version of a beautiful updated 2024 LARIAT necklace that I have already done a video on. This thing is quite long, and it is using these beautiful rondelle shaped pearls, and I did the ends of the lariat in a cha-cha style to bring in some of the 2024 jewelry trend elements of flower beads and pearls and, you know, the elongated links that I was seeing a lot of on the runway when I started watching the shows this year. And this necklace is just so much fun. I have done a try-on video, which I can link below to show some of the ways to wear it. And I photographed, I'm sorry, I'm going to pull out of the camera just for a moment so that I can organize it a bit. It is over 60 inches long. And so it is a really stunning, very wearable, very versatile piece using very inexpensive supplies. I used some pressed glass flowers that I purchased at a wholesaler here in town, and just some craft store glass pearls and some seed beads, some 11O seed beads from the craft store. So what I decided to do was do another version of this stunning necklace, but a little bit finer jewelry. So I am absolutely in love with Potomac Pearls. And so I have chosen this stunning color. It is called Antique Gold, and it's the 4mm size from Potomac Pearls website. So this will be a little bit more expensive pearl than what I used on the other necklace, but I am just crazy about the luster and the coating. And honestly, if you guys have never perused the Potomac website, you will be stunned at the comprehensive selection of pearls and crystals and beads and stringing material that is on that website. But in particular, I love the pearls. You can get so many colors of pearls in this beautiful finish. I am just in love with their website and with the Potomac Pearls. Just such a fabulous quality. So that was my first upgrade in this necklace. And then also from Potomac Pearls, I ordered some gold filled head pins. So my little flower drops on this are going to be a much higher quality metal in my head pins. And I use the same seed beads and some Czech glass little crystals and a little glass bellflower, and there are so many beautiful flower choices too if you don't have something in your own stash. And then I'm just using some Czech glass leaves with simple loops and a ball head pin. Potomac Pearls has recently launched an alternative to tiara cast. It is called Athena cast, and you will be shocked. There are 50 pages of products ranging from head pins to connectors to crimp covers to crimps to jump rings, charms. It's so fabulous. I literally made a cup of coffee and sat down and went through all 50 pages. So if you want some really high quality ball head pins for this project, you might also check their website for that. So I am also using some gold filled jump rings for this project, which I made my own jump rings for this necklace, and each of the flower little sections with the leaves are connected with a jump ring in between the pearls. So I'm going to do that same thing in this design, but I'm using gold filled jump rings. So I've just elevated the supplies for this version of the necklace, and I am scaling it down because I've gone down to these lovely 4mm pearls, and my little bell flowers are quite a bit smaller than the ones that I used in the first necklace. So I really am going to string this up. I am using the same beading wire that I used in the first necklace, the 26-pound Econoflex by Softflex Company. It's a 49 strand medium wire, and I did want a 49 strand, and I did want this 26 pound, even though I'm using smaller elements, just because it's such a long necklace. I have cut off about 64 inches of it here, and it's such a long necklace, and you can tie it so many ways and wrap it around your neck so many ways. You can literally do almost anything with this necklace that you would do with a scarf. So it's a really fun design, really update on a classic. You can knot it, you can make it look like a Y necklace, you can loop it around your neck like a scarf in a sort of lark's head knot. And so I did a try on video showing a few ways that you could wear it around your neck, and I have a little surprise for my community by way of thanking everyone for their positivity and their comments and all of the interaction underneath my videos and the views and the likes. My community has grown much more than I could have even expected in such a short period of time. And I am extremely grateful that when I put a video up, you choose to watch mine. I am well aware that there are thousands of choices online for things that people can watch, and I'm honored when you choose to watch what I'm doing on my work mat. I am going to give this away to one of my viewers. And on that note, please subscribe. If you have not, it is not expensive. It's free. It's really not expensive. It's free, and it doesn't obligate you to anything, and it just really helps my channel. It supports my work, and it shows YouTube that I have a community and people are watching what I'm doing. So I'd really appreciate it if you do that. So I am going to do exactly the same thing that I did in the other video. I am not going to do what we would normally do, is crimp off the ends. Because this is so long, I am going to put a clamp on one end of this and start stringing my pattern. And I'm going to space it out exactly the same way. I'm using these gold beads that are silver lined. They are Czech glass preciosa beads, and the silver lining just gives them a beautiful sparkle, and it's just a nice little pop in between the pearls. Let me lay some of these beautiful gold pearls so you can have a look at what that will look like. And I just decided to do, sort of my favorite colors of pink and gold in this really neutral green leaf with a gold wash. And so I'm going to start on the other end of my ridiculously long piece of wire, and I am just going to do exactly what I did. I'm going to do almost all of this off camera, but simply a gold 3mm pearl from Potomac Beads, a seed bead, and then I've buried my little pearls in the seed bead pile. And this is going to be the pattern. And I'm going to relax, put a movie on, and string the entire length of this second version of my LARIAT necklace. And so my pattern is going to look like that for the length. It's quite a bit more petite than the first necklace that I made, and it's going to have more of a gold chain look almost, because it is smaller and I'm using the different golds. And so I'll get all the stringing done, and I'm going to wire wrap all of these components that you see here. They're laid out the way they will be strung onto the beading wire, and I will come back and show you how I'm stringing just one end so it's not boring, and show you what this second version of this necklace is going to look like. So I will pause this and be right back with the finish of this necklace. This was a very relaxing stringing project, and I have completed my length, and let me show you how I finished it off. I took one of the crystals to go right at the end of the pearls, and it's the same crystal that I've used in the wire wrapping of my flowers. And so this is my length. This one is about a 62 or 64. I'm going to trim a little bit off of the ends. It's a bit longer than that first design, but look how stunning this is with the gold Potomac pearls and those little silver lined gold seed beads. So I am really excited to finish this off. And I did tell you when I started to normally we would crimp one of the ends and then string from there. But because this is so long, it is really best, I have found in making these, not to crimp the ends off, but just to clamp it off, because that way, if in your stringing you have omitted a seed bead or strung something in a mistake, you don't have to restring the whole thing. You can easily access where your mistake might be. And also for this cha-cha design, you may want to add something in or rearrange how your leaves are landing, because when you create a cha-cha style piece of jewelry, the way it hangs, is important. And so this way you would not have to restring the whole thing to get to the other end if you decided to add in more flowers or more leaves or rearrange your pattern a bit. So that is just a couple of my tips for making this design. And I thought, if you're trying to go by my measurements, that I would share with you what I used to get my length. So I ordered 4 packs of these antique gold 4mm Potomac pearls, and I only used 3 of them. And I even have a few left here that I did not use. So these, I had someone in my other design ask me how many pearls. I didn't count them because it would be a crazy count. It's so long. But the Potomac pearls, most of them come in a 16-inch strand. And I just highly recommend, if you are not familiar with the Potomac pearls or the Potomac website, to go peruse it. It is a fabulous resource for jewelry people. I'm particularly in love with the pearls, so much so that I've created an entire organizer just for my Potomac pearls to add into the way that I organize my bead supplies. But it's just fabulous, the colors that they offer, from neutrals and the more classic pearl colors into some really bright, beautiful colors. And what I love is that if you wanted to create drops of staggering or alternating sizes, you can actually have, this is their beautiful antique rose color. You can actually order 2mm or 3mm, 4mm, 6mm, and have all the same color pearl in different sizes. And it just gives us so many design options to have these kinds of supplies. So I'm going to link their website below. I highly recommend. They're very reasonably priced, but the selection is amazing. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead. The first end crimping is not difficult. I am going to take one of these little crimp tubes, and I really like my magical crimper, but you can totally use a regular fold over crimp for this. And I'm going to bring my crimper in, and one of my little tricks is to put a dummy wire inside my crimp tube. So I'll show you what that looks like if you've never seen me do that before. I'm going to make this little loop the way that I would, the size that I would like it. And I'm going to take this little tail of my bead stringing material and just insert it into that tube, just to take up space in the tube. I just find that I get a really nice crimp that way, so it fits right through the tube and that first bead. And so I'm just going to get my loop exactly the way that I want it, about like that. Kind of pay attention to the scale of the millimeters of pearls and beads that I have used. And this first crimp is not difficult, because we don't have to worry about our spacing or anything on this side. So just fit that crimp tube with the 3 wires, the 2 that are actually my loop and the dummy wire, in and press down, make sure I'm in the center, and then turn it sideways. Fit it really well in the plier and crimp down, and then just continue to circle around. Let me hold on to my loop. You just keep going until, with this crimping plier, until you don't feel any resistance, because when you're pressing down on the plier and there's no resistance whatsoever, that is indicative that your plier has turned that tube into a bead. And you know, if you take your plier away with this, which happens sometimes, and you didn't get a good shape or you didn't quite get it right, you can put your crimp tube back in that little well, reposition as I just did, and continue working on it, and you can see you get this perfect little round bead out of a crimp tube. It's really great. So I am going to trim away these 2 wires, being very careful not to cut the wire that I want to stay, and then also this dummy wire that's excess. And so that is the beautiful finish on this necklace, and it is ready for the dangles. But I think I'm going to go ahead and crimp my other end. So you'll have to forgive me for being out of the camera a bit, because as I said, I have 62 or so inches here on this one, and so it's really, really important. I'm losing my beads on this end a little bit. It's really important to have your spacing correct. So what I do on these, let me back up a bit. What I do on these is start at this end and just run my fingers along my design and let it go in a coil. I'm just checking to make sure that there's no space in between my beads, but I don't want it rigid, because as I said, this design can be worn pretty much any way that you would wear a scarf. So I'm going to let gravity help me a little bit and just make sure that everything is moved down on such a long length. You can even do what I'm doing and kind of spread it out on your mat, and just take your time and check before you crimp that you don't have a huge gap that's unwanted in there. And mine looks really, really great. So on this end, when we crimp, we do have to pay a little bit more attention. So I'm going to take my last little crimp tube and my scrap of wire from the other side and do the same thing with the little dummy wire. It's not always necessary, and with the 49 strand and a number 2 crimp tube, it usually does a good job. But I have just found in using this crimping plier that that little extra wire inside the tube really helps to take up that empty space, and I just get a prettier bead and more secure. And then what I care about on this side is matching my loop, because this is the front. There's no clasp on this necklace, but this is the front, so that's pretty good. Maybe just a tiny bit smaller. And then I'm going to do that same exact thing that I did on the other side. Insert that little dummy wire in there. Let me go behind my loop. It'll make my crimping and cutting much easier. And just repeat the same thing. Just get that little tube centered. You know, making jewelry is not a race, it's not a competition. So I find that if I slow down and really pay attention to what I'm doing and enjoy the process, I get much better results. there's a little learning curve with this plier, and I have learned to kind of feel when my crimp tube is centered in the well inside the plier. So as I said, I just take my time and reposition if I need to, and just keep going around, opening and closing the plier until I don't feel any resistance. That is an indication that the tube is now a little gold bead, and it feels really good, and it's pretty good. I think I'm going to turn it around one more time. Very nice. And now just trim away just like we did on the other side, being really careful not to cut the wrong wire. I think it has happened to all of us at some point in our jewelry making, but especially on a piece like this where you would have so much to restring. It would not be good. I want to get that just a little bit closer, still being careful not to cut my main wire. Okay, this is looking great. Oh my goodness, I just love this version. I just love this little flower and leaf paradise. It is a dangle paradise. Oh, it's gorgeous. And then I am simply going to finish off my ends with these little dangles that I already made. And I used also the gold-filled jump rings for this. And I had found on my first piece that the jump rings for all of the dangles really made this hang beautifully. You could try stringing your wire wrapped loops right onto your necklace, but I found that they just hung more beautifully when I put a jump ring on everything. So I am doing that again. I put a little gold-filled, very tiny jump ring on every single one of my pieces that I wrapped for this necklace. I'm going to do my leaf on the outside and my flower on the inside. It doesn't matter that much on this design because these just move around constantly as you wear it and depending on how you tie it, but it's just a lovely little drop on the end of the necklace. And I thought that I would also mention a little bit about my stringing pattern for this piece, just because some of you watching this may not have seen my first video with this design where I explain it in detail. So I'll just take a moment let me attach this one, and I'll just take a moment and show you what worked best for me on this. But as with any design, you can totally change the patterns, the sizes of your beads, the colors of your beads. You can make adjustments to the length of things, and you can modify designs to suit your own style, your own personal taste. So, this is just really a starting point. But what I found on these is that when I reached the point where I wanted to start my dangles hanging, I started with stringing onto the wire a leaf and a flower, and then 2 pearls, again separated by those seed beads. And then I just did a single flower and then 2 more pearls, and then I went back to a flower and a leaf, and then right in the middle of the design I strung 2 flowers onto the bead stringing wire, and I just continued in that way. And then when it hangs, everything moves around, it looks nice and full. I liked the nice disbursement of where the leaves were landing, just that little peaking of that neutral green. It just really looks beautiful to me. I would like to give away the first one of these necklaces that I made. And so under this video that you're watching, if you will leave a comment, it can be anything, a heart, just anything, so that I have your name for the drawing. And I am going to draw one person from the comments underneath this video that you're watching, not this one where I first presented this necklace. And when I reach 3,000 subscribers, as a thank you to all of the regular subscribers that have been with me since the beginning and the newer ones, I'm going to draw one name at random and give this piece away to someone. So I really hope that you will give my video a thumbs up and that you'll participate in the little drawing, and that if you have not subscribed, that you will consider doing so. It's totally free and there's no obligation, and it just helps my work and helps the channel. So this is another version, a smaller version and different color of this beautiful lariat necklace that is, you know, kind of, as one of my viewers commented, that it combines the old with the new. The classic pearls, a very classic design, is a lariat necklace, and then updates it a little bit with the cha-cha design and the extra length, and even the shape of the pearls on this one was quite a modern twist on it. So I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time today. If you haven't checked out the Potomac Pearls website, you will love it. Not Potomac Pearls, it's the Potomac Beads website, because they have the Potomac Pearls, they have the new Athena cast line, which is a fabulous, and so many Czech glass and crystal things and bead stringing material and findings. It's a fabulous, comprehensive website. And you know, when I find something good, I try to share it, because we're only as good as our supplies. Even, you know, I love the pearls and crystals from the website so much that I even have a ring video coming using Potomac pearls and crystals and some copper non-tarnished wire. So anyway, thanks again for watching today. I hope everybody's safe and well and warm and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, jewelry making friends.